The PodAskew Podcast is a proud member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network.
Did you know that a man once jumped into a bulletproof window so much that he busted it out of the frame and fell to his death? I do. Hey, I'm Nicholas Howe, and I made an improvised comedy storytelling podcast about this death and many others. Using a multiverse of me's as the catalyst, I explore the various ways people have died. I also have special guests on and freak them out about how dangerous the world is. Did you know lakes can explode? You do now. Listen to the How Will I Die podcast on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, and follow us on Twitter at HWIDIEPOD.
The PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero mate Rico. What's up, man?
2020 can eat a dick.
You know, I was going to start the show differently. Do you want to hear what I was going to do for the episode?
Sure.
Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the end of the world. I am CJ, and with me, as always, is my hetero mate Rico. What's up, man?
And that's when I'll be all chipper. Hey!
Yeah, right, dude? Shit. The world is ending. We're watching it tick down.
Steph and I, in the midst of our depression, which I will get into, we watched some movies, and we watched, I showed her Tommy Boy, because I just kept thinking, like, I want to rewatch Tommy Boy, I want to show her Tommy Boy. And there's a part where, Farley and Spade are in the car, and there's like a real brief montage of them listening to music in the car.
Yes, I remember, yeah.
And they do, at one point, like, it's the end of the world.
Yep.
You know it. And then they do the classic thing that we all do, like, 6 o'clock,
Right, yeah. Nobody knows yeah. Actually, and help me out here, because I always get him confused. Tommy Boy's the one where he's the kid of the auto parts guy who takes over the company, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the one I like.
That's the one everyone likes.
But I'm not as big of a fan of Black Sheep, which is a very similar film, is it not? I mean, it's him and Spade and that whole thing. I mean,
Black Sheep. The premise of Black Sheep is, whereas in Tommy Boy, Spade and Farley knew each other since they were kids, so they had that general animosity, but still like, hey, I remember you, and they're like friends without being friends.
Right.
In Black Sheep, they're sort of like. Farley is the younger brother of a guy. His older brother's running for the Senate or something. So it's a whole campaign run.
Okay.
And
okay.
Spade is like an intern who gets hired to sort of watch Farley.
Gotcha. So it's similar but different. I know what you're saying. Because it's similar because the reason Spade gets sent on the road trip on Tommy Boy is to make sure he doesn't fuck it up, basically.
Well, that and also because he was the right-hand man to his dad,
father.
And he knows all about brake pads and, yada, yada, yada. But Steph liked it, which was
good. It's a fun movie.
Than I had initially hoped. I was expecting her to not like it.
It's funny because we have, a little peek behind the curtain for everybody. We have a Saturday Night Live recording episode, like, about the show, and I'm pretty certain those movies came up in that recording. So,
which. Actually, I would definitely qualify Tommy Boy as a SNL film because it was produced by Lorne Michaels. So
I think we said that. I think remember the part where we were looking at like the money that was grossed. I think that was one of the movies we talked about in that section. Unfortunately, we're not here about as happier subjects, dude. Look, I thought this is something I haven't shared on air, but since we're kind of airing. I was going to say airing grievances, but it's not grievances, but...
Airing our dirty laundry,
yeah,
so to speak?
Yeah. I mean, I've been laid off from my job. I got laid off before all this coronavirus shit.
Yeah, you were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, right? Trendsetter! But... and so it's been fucking brutal for me anyway, just because of that, And then this coronavirus shit hits, and now the world is shutting the fuck down.
This has been like it's so weird. It is like out of a movie. Like it is out of like Contagion but like at no point am I minimizing what happens when you get corona and people have died. I mean,
yes,
that's
absolutely.
The real thing is people have died. But all things considered, it's not a zombie outbreak. It's not apes taking over the fucking planet. It's not even like it's not a disease. If you touch it, your face melts. It's nothing like catastrophic. It's a really bad flu, and you could die from the flu. I'm not minimizing what corona does, but like in terms of apocalypses, this is so far a pretty lucky one. Like we could have been really fucked.
Yeah.
With the amount of diseases that are like the plague, we could have like brought back the plague.
And to a degree, it kind of feels like it. I mean, I get what you're saying, and it
feels like it because we're fucking millennials and we haven't experienced shit.
We are not millennials. No. You, sir, are a millennial. I am Gen X. And what I love right now is that the Gen Z people are like, fuck you to the millennials. You're the ones that are causing all this chaos. So.
As far as I'm concerned, anybody who's younger than Trump might as well be a millennial.
Well, let's not start there. But anyway.
No, I gotta say, if we're gonna talk briefly about the coronavirus, we gotta at least acknowledge,
how poorly he's handled the whole damn thing? Yeah.
So, I mean, what's really fucked up is that, he was throwing paper towels at Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I really half expected him to do the same thing with, tissues or face masks.
Well, look, and we tend not to get very political on this show, but anyone who knows me knows that I am not a fan of this man in any capacity whatsoever. Nor are you, but...
No, I despise the motherfucker.
Yeah, but there's one...
It's such a bizarre feeling to loathe someone
you don't know
thousands of miles away that you don't know. Yeah. It's really a bizarre thing.
The thing that's interesting for me, though, is... I haven't liked how he's handled any of it, but the thing that's really irritated me was the one press conference he had where this reporter, and I wish I had the reporter's name in front of me, but I don't, asked him, what would you say to scared Americans that are out there? And his response was that you're a terrible reporter. What the fuck?
Yeah, he went off for 2 minutes and said, you're a terrible reporter, you're a nasty person, and, and I think the American people deserve better than that. It's one, you didn't answer the question. 2, you're being a dick. 3, you're still being a dick and you didn't answer the fucking question and people are still scared, dude. You just have to say.
And it wasn't
even
unfair.
if you rip off a president, just say just steal from the greats. Be we all need to be united and steal from Kennedy or Obama. Fucking Melania stole from Michelle. Just fucking, you gotta, dude, you have a whole plethora of presidents that have said great things. Just fucking Mad Libs that shit.
And we have a president still saying great shit in Obama because he's putting out some pretty supportive stuff on Twitter. That said, what's that?
I miss Obama so fucking much.
So does a lot of people.
I did not appreciate him as much as I should have. Not that I didn't like him. I just wasn't aware. I wasn't as into politics.
I was a huge fan. But anyway, that's beside the point. The last thing I want to say about that before we move on is that the question that the guy asked wasn't even antagonistic. It wasn't a
gotcha.
Not at all. It was, what would you say as the leader of the country to your citizens? And his response couldn't have been worse. It couldn't have been worse.
And I don't think. That's how sensitive Trump is that he thinks every question now is going to be...
Come after him. Yeah.
Come after him. And he needs to... I mean, we're really reaching here because he needs to do... he's never going to do this shit.
Nope.
He'll never take advice, and that's the problem. Is he'll never once be you know what? The country is more important.
Yeah, never. No. But anyway... In
the midst of more depressing shit.
Yeah, right. In the midst of all this, besides people that have been lost by the coronavirus, COVID-19, and our thoughts are with all the family. Anyone that's listening that potentially has lost someone from this, our thoughts are with you. You know, I'm not going to say prayers because Rico doesn't go that route, and I'm quickly behind him at this point in my life. But certainly we're thinking about you, and hopefully we can bring you some levity for a brief period. This episode, not so much.
Not so much, yeah.
But the upcoming episodes and the previous episodes, yeah, please check us out and just lose yourself in PodAskew for a little while, you know? So,
we apologize in advance. This episode's it's gonna be a sad one.
Well, and hopefully we can have some levity within it. You know, we can bring our typical, you know, selves to the conversation. But yes, there's some sadness coming on. And I hate to say it, it's 95% on your end, bro. Like,
yeah,
Jesus.
It's been a rough week.
That's the other part. Like, it feels like 3 weeks worth of events were crammed into like 4 days. Like, what?
All right. Well, number one.
You want to do it in order?
What?
You want to do it in order?
Well, as far as I know, it's easier for me to remember, I guess.
Sure.
Well, Steph went on on a business trip. She went to Texas, so I was really kind of like nervous because, like, hey, the world's like got the flu. What the fuck? Like, why is she still going?
Yeah, that was really odd to me.
It was so like she had to be there. Like, it was one of those business things, and I won't go into details. It's not one's business. That's not her business.
Yeah.
But like, she had to someone had to represent the company and like kind of like, hey, what the fuck are you guys doing? So I was kind of nervous and for her about, you know, being on a flight and being in another state and, you know, not overall being not around her and kind of being like, you know, what are you doing? Why aren't you, you know, blah, blah, blah. And while she was gone, Sugar, what would you call her? The unofficial mascot of PodAskew?
We've got so many of those. The
gaslighter.
The gaslighter.
The gaslighter of PodAskew.
That's nice. I like that. Yeah.
Sugar, the Boston Terrier. And I may cry because it is sad.
It is. Yeah.
Steph had this dog for 14 and a half years. I was just privy to 2 of it. So, Sugar, while Steph was gone, started doing this weird thing where she got sick. But like, it was just like, what's wrong with you, dog? Like, what's going on? We changed her diet. We went from hard kibble food to, soft food, wet food. In a can kind of shit, and like gourmet shit, the ones that's like full of lamb and rice and corn, and you're just like, well, if the apocalypse happens, ironically enough, and we run out of food, this looks like it actually might be edible. Like, doesn't smell or look too promising, but all the ingredients are just normal food, as far as we know. So while Steph was gone, I mean, when I took Steph to the airport, we were in so much of a rush, we forgot to feed the dog. So when I came back to work that night, I immediately called Steph and I said, did you feed the dog? Did you feed the dog before we left? She's like, no, I completely forgot. You obviously forgot. So I said, okay, well, normally we just give the dog like a third or a quarter of this because she's such a greedy dog. She will fucking scarf it down.
Yeah.
And then there's her food for the whole day. She's not supposed to have more. And Steph and I are both like, fuck it. She hasn't eaten all day. She's been miserable. It's the first night Steph's away. Let's just give her the whole can. So I gave her the whole can. Dog fucking wolfed that shit down. Pun intended. Like, wolfed it down. Like, she dug into her primal nature. And ate it like her ancestors would have. And then, of course, like, was so full, like, ate it within minutes. It didn't even finish it. That's how much it was, and that's how little she is. And, like, started hacking. Like, she like had a piece stuck in her throat, and I kept rubbing her throat, and nothing was dislodging. I kept giving her water. I, kept trying to, move her throat to see if there's anything else. She kept going back to the dish and kept trying to eat. Like, clearly she was fine.
Right.
But all of a sudden there was like this like hacking, and then she, throughout the night, started dry heaving, but nothing came out. And it got me concerned, and she just overall started acting really weird. She started looking at nothing, like staring at the wall for hours. like a fucking ghost in possessed her and was staring at somebody while they were asleep for fucking 4 hours. It was just, and she was just staring up at the ceiling, doing nothing.
Right.
And I tried to move her, and she was just kind of like she was in a daze, just kind of like it's weird to make a joke of it. Like she ate so much, she like lost consciousness and kept going in and out
food
of
coma.
consciousness.
Yeah.
Food coma, but it was like alert. Like, where the fuck am I, dude? Like,
right.
Like, like you've eaten so much McDonald's, you're just like, I don't even know how to think right now.
That's usually Thanksgiving, but I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah. So the next day, she didn't eat anything. And I tried like coaxing her, her leftover food, and I said, come on. And she was like, nope, not in the mood. I'm like, you are turning down food? That's not okay. And before I officially woke up, my mom took Sugar for a walk and then busted in my room 2 minutes later, freaking out because she said the dog had a seizure. Which we found out are not seizures, but still, something was going on. And then she was fine. She shook and she seized and then went limp, and Nancy picked her up and took her back into my room. And then, I tried to keep an eye on her for the next couple hours, and I had to go to work. Steph took Uber from the airport to video room. And I didn't want to just like drop this on her, but like, I was like, all right, I just got to tell you, the dog is freaking me out. I don't know what's going on with her. And I said in a slightly jokey way, but like kind of serious. I'm like, there is a probability this dog might be dead when we come back, because I don't know what's going on with her.
Right.
And it's like, I've joked about shit like that because I have a dark sense of humor, but like Steph knows it. Right. Steph knows that. So she was like, are you being serious? And I'm like, honestly, the dog is freaking me out. And I said, I'm more grateful that like you're back. That way we can handle this together. And, if something were to happen, you weren't, gone.
Yeah, you're here for it. Yeah.
Right. So we're kind of watching her all night, and she was just doing the same shit, just staring off into nothing. Was not really alert, just kind of was in a daze, was just a quarter present. It was really bizarre. And then, so that day was Friday the 13th. The next day was Saturday. And I called my boss and I said, look, dude, there's a probability we're going to have to put the dog down. At the very least, we got to take the dog to the vet. I don't know if I'm coming into work. And he said, okay, let me know. We took the dog, and I think Steph and I just both knew there was no way the dog was coming back with us. We just knew. One of those. And then like after obviously everything is over, you're kind of like, fuck, I should have done this. Like I should have stopped at McDonald's and got her some bacon. You know what I mean? Like one of those things, like one last car ride. And because she was allergic to pork, she couldn't have pork. So we're constantly saying, no, get the fuck away from my bacon. No, get the fuck away from my pork. I felt like if I had known, I would have just stopped and got her a fucking, like a ham,
Yeah.
If she's going to get sick, what the fuck does it matter? Right.
Right.
I mean, she may be miserable, but she had pork, so she was happy. So we didn't do that. And one of the few regrets of my life. Took her to the vet. And the vet, despite like the craziness, I got to give whoever was still in business at this time, they were like, we might be closed tomorrow. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. And I'm like, I'm just grateful they were there. I really want to thank, the vets and all the technicians and the receptionists and everybody. They have a hard ass job.
Yeah, man.
Just see dogs and cats come and go, and sometimes not go at all. They just go a very different way.
Right.
The vet basically explained, as we described the symptoms, she's like, it doesn't sound like a seizure. It sounds like a form of like heart arrhythmia. Like her heart's just beating all fucked up. And she said, like, we can, refer you to a specialist. We can refer you to get x-rays and all that shit. And Steph and I just kind of looked at each other like, if this dog was 2, definitely.
Right.
This dog is 14. Like, we're already having a hard time trying to find an apartment and save up money as it is. We'd just be prolonging this dog's life maybe 4 months. It just wasn't.
Right.
And it was sort of hard to just like make that decision of kind of like say goodbye. And the dog has no fucking clue.
Yeah.
We're just, like, no, we're time for her to die. It's just kind of weird. And it was at no point was it a light conversation. We were both sobbing pretty hard. They gave us a couple minutes to be with the dog, and then they took her, and then they administered the wrist pump thing that they do. They like put in like the syringe thing in their wrist, and then they say, all right, you get a couple minutes, and we were just loving the fuck out of this dog. The dog was just like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Why? And I always hate it when the dog licks me because she's got super bad breath. And so when she licks my hand, she loves licking me especially. And I just let that dog lick me all over, dude. Just like, you go at it. You get as much salt as you possibly can. You dry your ass up. And Brett came in, and I was holding Sugar, which was weird. Because I felt, in retrospect, at the time, I was like, I feel like an outsider. Like, I know I'm part of this family. I'm part of Steph's family.
Sure.
But like, why should I be the one holding it? And I think Steph and I we talked about this afterwards. I was like, did you want to hold her? She's like, I didn't want to hold her. But she's like, I got to look at her. I got to look in her eyes as she went away, which was, she's like, the last thing that she saw was Stephanie, which was great. It was the first thing that she did see. And it was really fucked up for me because I got to, when I held her, it's so morbid. It's like a weird, fucked up thing that did kind of fuck me up throughout the day. But then like, I kind of looking at it as like a weird, like a positive.
Yeah.
As I was holding her, I felt her heartbeat, and it quickened, and then it just gradually slowed and stopped. And that was, like I said, it was fucked up because I was like, I felt something end.
Yeah.
I felt something cease. I felt a life cease. Steph was looking in the eyes and saw, I don't know what she saw. I don't know if there was like the light of their eyes and out kind of thing. But like Sugar's eyes were already fucking cloudy. What the hell, like, could she see leave? But, and then I said, like, it was good that I as fucked as it is, I'm glad that I was the one to feel that heartbeat go away, that I'll remember that. It's a fucked up memory. In a weird way, Sugar will kind of live on. It's hard to decipher, but it was.
No, I get it. It makes sense. And dude, first and foremost, props to you because I couldn't do it.
Oh, it was a first for me to really be as involved in that. And I guarantee if it was Dino, I would have not have been able to do it.
Right.
I would have had to be in the room and hold him and comfort him, but like, I read this post online that was about like how animal owners can't deal with it. They walk out of the room and they say, I can't see this. That's when you need to suck it the fuck up. Yeah. Because the dog or cat does not know what's going on.
Right.
They don't understand why you're walking out of the room. Now they're scared because where the fuck is my owner? Now they're going to be searching for you. Yeah. The last thing they think of is, where's my owner?
Yeah.
You don't want that to be. So I had that, like, it was like a meme that was like a vet was writing this out, like saying, all you animal lovers need to shut the fuck up and actually be in the room. It was like the most aggressive ass vet ever.
Here's the other thing I would actually say to you as a compliment, buddy, because I know you're not the biggest dog person in the world. You know what I mean? You're just not. You're a cat person. You're more of a cat person. I'm not saying you're harmful or mean to dogs or anything, but I'm just saying some people are cat people, some people are dog people, and some people are both. I'm a dog person. I'm not much of a cat person. You're more of a cat person, and you really, I saw a change in you as you spent 2 years with Sugar. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you're now this dog person, but you are more open. You were at least Sugar. You were more open to her than you were when she got there. You know,
well, you have to remember the comparison was before Sugar, it was just German Shepherds in my house.
True. I mean, I know you've had dogs in the house, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up with dogs, and my dad had a litter of puppies. You know, the Shepherds that we had were bred from his dog.
Yeah.
And so we had like 6 puppies, and that was kind of a fascinating thing to just constantly step in dog shit.
Yeah. Been there.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're right. I am a cat person, and ultimately it was Sugar will always be Steph's dog.
Yeah.
But then I eventually sort of took the initiative to be like, I'm gonna just alpha the fuck out of this mutt. And I did. Like, yeah. I mean, Steph and I would talk in Sugar's voice because
we do that with Feetses all the time, so I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
but like Sugar's voice was just this neurotic old like why you do this to me? Like just like almost like a neurotic old Jewish lady, just like and it was always a whine, and it was always like, why you do this to me? How could you? Yeah, and even when she was like in a good mood, like, hi Rico, do you have treats for me? Do you have treats? Food? You have food? You have salt? Let me lick the arm. Let me lick it. And she would talk like, ah! Like she was like kind of like a golem. It was like having a little golem for a dog, because she would just stare at us. Like if we had food in our lap, she would just look at us. Oh, precious.
Oh man.
One of the funniest times I've ever looked at this dog, I laughed so goddamn fucking hard. Steph and I were in bed, and the dog crawled under the blankets just to like take a nap. She got overheated, and like all of a sudden, like in a panic, was like crawling out like a fucking thing stuck in the desert, just crawling out of the blankets. And we lift the blankets up, and she just breathes in this gasp of air and stares at us with these big fucking golem eyes. And the sound she made was. I laughed so fucking hard at this dog gasping for breath that I had to gasp for breath. I
have a similar one with Feetses where, and I won't say who, but she went same thing. She went under the bed, under the blanket to go to. It was at night though when we were going to bed, and at some point I won't say who, because it could be either of us. The dog got Dutch ovened unintentionally. Mm-hmm. And she came bolting out from under the blankets and like, get me out of here! Oh,
well,
so
I mean, from previous recordings, if there was anyone who was Dutch ovening us, it was
Sugar. Yeah,
Sugar
for sure.
would fuck up this room.
Hey, she cost us a fan, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. And I mean, that's the thing we've noticed, is that it wasn't just Sugar. Dino's been farting too. So we're like, has he always been farting, or is he just like trying to make up for like Sugar's passing? Like, well, I gotta help out. You know, it doesn't stink in here anymore. I gotta help out.
Yeah, right.
Dino's been weird. He's been like, so after that, I mean, Steph and I had to like, it was so fucked up, because fuck everyone else's feelings, but I think about it later. We walked out of there sobbing and holding each other.
Sure.
And there were people bringing their pets, and they were just staring at us in the most like, oh fuck, like,
well, yeah,
and I mean, and obviously we didn't care. We weren't like, oh, I'm so sorry. We're just like, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, right.
Our dog died. We just stood out there, and Steph called her mom and gave her the bad news, because the mom was just as a part of Sugar's life.
Sure.
And I'm immediately chain smoking, and we hold each other and sob, and then I take us home. No, we started taking us home, and I said, fuck this. I'm finding a bar right now.
Yeah.
And like, I purposely was like, if I take Steph home, She's going to be looking at an empty room. She's going to be sobbing. She's going to be mourning through it. And I said, I need her around strangers. I need her around unbiased strangers that will just listen and offer their own stories. And instead of it being like, you know, her texting everyone she knows, being like, Sugar's gone.
Yeah.
Let's just have some drinks and try and have some laughs. And ultimately it worked. Like Steph got day drunk. And I took her home and she was and we were cracking jokes the whole time. We were cracking jokes about Sugar. We had to make light of a fucked up situation.
Yeah, man.
And all things considered, it was the best possible death scenario.
Sure.
The dog wasn't like the dog didn't get sick and keel over and die. She didn't, you know, get into an accident with a car. She didn't get mauled by a dog. She didn't get, you know, she didn't choke on a fucking anything. She just, okay, we have to be responsible now. So all things considered, she was held, she was loved, she was fed, she was walked, she had a great life. And it's still an adjustment. Like every time I walk in the room with food in my hand, I keep expecting to have to like kind of gently kick her out of the way. Like, no, it's mine. I'm just like, oh my God, I can eat in my room without fighting a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I can watch a movie without being interrupted because every single time we would put on a movie or a show, Sugar would scratch the door. Like clockwork. Just be like, all right, there's your 30-minute mark. Time to go. And Steph and I would make a joke, be like, what's the movie we're going to watch where we can actually sit and watch the whole fucking thing? Like, this is a monumental, like, thing. I don't remember what the fuck it was.
Well, as I think it's safe to say, as Kev would say, big bucket of win, you know? So.
If it was full of food, Sugar would have ate that bucket.
Big bucket of win. But unfortunately, you got more that took place.
More, unfortunately. Now, far less detail to go through. But the same day as Sugar, Steph's dad died.
Yep.
I never met the dude. Only know what I know about him.
I think you and I know about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just know, you know, he and Steph were estranged, and that's it. But, like, the timing sucked.
Yes, it did.
Like, it was more to the point of, like, oh my God, we're grieving for the dog. It's like, dude, you could have waited another day. Like,
yeah, seriously. And if you want me to take this, I will. But you texted to me when you told me.
Mm.
And you were like, piece of shit had to take Sugar's day.
Yeah.
That's all you said. You told me what happened, and then that was it. And that was all you said. You know?
And it's, you know, and I was paying very close attention to Steph even more after that news.
Sure.
And then, you know, just, that's it. We're still mourning the dog. So then, I got the news that we had to, there is still a possibility a video room will open again, but like it was like a curfew for everyone. So now I'm just we're all quarantined up.
Yeah.
I'm out of work. Ironically enough, nothing changes for Steph. She just has more of a workload now.
Yeah.
Like she's already been a fucking hermit. You know, she's used to this. And ultimately, in terms of being quarantined, like it's not that bad. Like I'm okay with kind of like being like a homebody. I actually prefer to stay in. I don't really get cabin fever. If I want cabin fever, I can go outside for an hour and be like, but I don't need to go shopping or go anywhere.
Right. You and I are the same way like that. Like I don't need it, you know. And I'm fortunate that my apartment has a porch. Like I have a little like porch thing, so I can go. You know, if they lock down the country, like there's rumors that they're going to do, it doesn't stop you from going out on your porch if you need like oxygen. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you know, so we can do that and whatever. But yeah, man, that's rough, buddy. I'm hoping, because I remember when you told me, I was thinking, oh shit, I wonder if that's the nail in the coffin for the store.
It still possibly is. That's the thing.
Yeah, I know.
You know, every day we don't make money is
not good. Yeah,
it's not good. I don't know. I haven't even talked to the owner about it, but I immediately filed for unemployment. I'm hoping that will be approved.
Yeah, there's I don't know about California, but in New Jersey, there's a section of unemployment right now, like when you go to file, that is specific for lost
coronavirus.
Yeah. So I'm hoping, hopefully there's something like that out there.
And then again, not to go into detail, my buddy Michael was in a car accident.
Yep.
And told his car had to be pulled out of the wreckage. I mean, he's fine. And there's details of the story I won't go into, but,
sure.
I mean, all things considered, as he said it, he's like, I should not be alive. There's no fucking way that I'm not like insanely lucky. He's like, it was a miraculous thing. The car rolled over, like one of those. And I don't know. I mean, I'm just grateful he's okay because that would have been,
man.
Because I didn't talk to him for like 2 days. And I'm like, and I kept reaching out and texting him. Like, it was strange that I was texting him being like, dude, Sugar passed away. I'm like, hey, her dad also passed away. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Why aren't you responding? Are you okay? No response. I had to text his girlfriend, which I should have done immediately. And then I was like, where's my buddy? And she was like, oh, he got into a car accident. He's okay, but like he lost his phone in the wreckage. I'm like, oh fuck. Well, how would that fucking dipshit call me, for Christ's sake? Fuck.
Or have her call you at least and be like, hey, can you tell Rico I'm okay?
That's what I was kind of. The ultimate irony is that he said after he lost his phone, he's like, the only number I know is yours. And I'm like, well, why didn't you call me? He's like, because he's like, where the fuck can I find a payphone? I'm like,
there's that too. Yeah.
I was like, that's a fair point. Even if you lose your phone, you're like, how do I make a call? Even if I know the number, how do I make a call?
Right.
And I was like, you could have gone to a stranger. He's like, go to a stranger and ask them for their phone? Would you give up your phone?
Yeah, it depends. But I get the point. Yeah. I get the point he's making. But the good news is he's okay. I mean, it sucks about his car, but at least he's okay, and that's really all that matters.
All right, so let's recap. Dog's dead. Dad is dead.
No, Steph's dead. That's
Steph dead.
Because we talk about Ron a lot. Let's make sure that we're...
It's actually today's his birthday.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, today's his birthday.
Well, happy birthday, Ron.
Yeah, I called him last night and gave him an early one. Steph called him this morning, and he was so thrown off. He
Why?
was just like, hi.
Oh, because Steph doesn't call him very often, I'm sure.
No, she was like, hey, Ron, I just wanted to say happy birthday. He's like, oh, okay. Like, thank you. I'm so surprised. Like,
sounds like a typical Ron answer.
Yeah, it was more just like, oh, I have no, like, you actually chose to wish me happy birthday? Weird. Speaking of my dad, another Alan type for me passed away as well.
Oh.
Guy named Peter, and he was, if Alan was like the Jewish Godfather, Peter was like the crazy German uncle. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Peter.
And I have a couple of them. So, yeah.
You got a bunch of them? So, Peter was actually born like in a part where Germany and Italy are like right up against each other.
Yep.
So he's like a quarter Italian and he's 3/4 German, but very German. Craziest fucking guy I know, but like not mentally crazy, not like insane.
Right. Yeah.
Just one of those guys that like he was a MacGyver. Like he was a true Renaissance man where every Mercedes my dad has ever gotten has been from Peter for the most part. And like every time a Mercedes breaks down, he takes it to Peter, and Peter would come over and have wine, and he and Dad would argue and talk about cars. And every single time I talked to Peter, he always tried to sell me a car. I would be like 12 years old. Like, hey, Rico, you want to buy a car? I'm like, I'm 12. He's like, well, you'll have it ready. I'll teach you how to fix it. I'll only charge you $100 an hour, and it'll be great. You'll fix this car up, and then by the time you're 16, it'll be all perfect. It'll be immaculate. You can drive it. You'll be the king. I'm like, I'm 12. like, dude, no. One, I'm 12. I can't buy a car. I don't have the money. He's like, no, it's okay. You can work it off for me. I'm like, doing what? He's like, I got a whole, like, parking lot of stuff. I gotta find so many things. You can move batteries. You can cast lead. Hey, you need a bunch of knives? I got a bunch of pocket knives and I need to sell them. I'll get, I pay for the knives. You try and sell them. You have to get my money back that I paid for. And then every other thing else, we split down the middle. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, dude, I could sell so many fucking knives. So we went through this. I couldn't give these fucking things away. And now it's really fucked up when I was told about Peter. I was like, I guess I don't have to pay him for the fucking knives.
You still owed him for the knives?
I had these knives like in this closet, like to my right, because they were at my mother's, because I was like, I don't know what to fucking do with these. I couldn't give them away. I took them everywhere. And all my friends were like into like pocket knives and shit. They're all like, this pocket knife sucks. And I'm like, will you just give it to me for $1? Like, please. Like, one of them was like a giant broadsword, like a fucking Braveheart thing. And eventually that's just hanging on Dad's wall. Like he's fucking Braveheart and shit.
That's funny.
But, yeah, Peter was the type of guy where he could just say that he could do something and you say bullshit, and then he would do it. Like he was Dad's age, like mid to late 70s. But at one point, this guy, he's like, hey, Rico, you ever seen a one-arm pull-up? And I said, yeah, but like it's really difficult. Like you have to hold the wrist. He's like, nah, one hand, no holding the wrist. And I'm like, no, he's like, I can do that. I'm like, bullshit, you can do that. Because he doesn't look like an imposing guy. He doesn't look like muscular in any way. He just looks like a dude. And sure enough, he went to a pull-up bar and just like pulled himself up with one hand. And Dad and I, and at the time I was even more physically fit, were just like, how the fuck? You? What the fuck are they doing in Germany, dude? Like,
lots and lots of steroids.
But this dude didn't show it.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
But like, I mean, he was that guy that would just pop a wheelie on a bicycle. Like, we would go bike riding when I was little, and then he would just pop a wheelie, and not even just like pop a wheelie for like a second. He would fucking ride his bicycle for like 6 blocks
on a wheelie. Yeah.
And I'd just be like, why are you? And then he like ate shit. He's like, I'm all right. And just pop it back up. He had a broken wrist. He's like doing it again. Like that was the point, was we thought Peter was just fucking indestructible.
Well, you just spray some Windex on it, right? I mean, that fixes it.
Some sauerkraut,
yeah.
Yeah, but he was a good dude, and that was just another nail in the coffin of like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
that sucks. Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you know what, dude? Like, it unfortunately, you mentioned it's Ron's birthday. If my math is right, he's 82.
Yeah.
You're at that. He's at that point where his friends are gonna start.
Oh, they
dropping.
already are.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like Alan, Peter, and I'm sure there's been others. But I mean, you get the point. Yeah. Like, they're gonna become far and few between. So it's
there's been a lot. I mean, there was another actual German friend named Carl, and I think that was the first real big one.
Who the fuck is Carl?
Exactly. Carl, here's the fuck. Carl like had this house very similar to my land out in Santa Cruz, very kind of hilly, woodsy.
Sure.
But near the ocean. Like, so there's the ocean, and then like you go in the woods. That's it. That's what Santa Cruz is. In the middle of it, there's a fucking boardwalk. Carl was like the guy who had a bunch of paintball guns. He taught my brothers how to paintball. He taught me how to paintball. And he was just this German dude with like a very thick German accent, and sort of lived out in the wilderness in his own way, and was a very nice guy, very genial and warm. But the accent frightened me. I was kind of like, I don't, it was, especially when you're very, very little, his accent alarmed me. And it was like a real lesson of like, some people are not born in America. Some people are from Europe and they just have different accents and yada, yada, yada. And then, but when when Carl passed away, I never knew this about him, and I knew him, ever since up to, I don't remember how young I was. I think I was 13 or something. But when he passed, we're at someone else's house, it's sort of a memorial party kind of thing, and remembrance. And I look out the window, and I see Carl. And I'm like, the fuck? And I'm like, nudging my dad. I'm like, Dad, am I seeing a ghost or something? I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? And Dad's like, oh, that's Carl's brother. That's his twin brother. I was like,
oh shit.
Carl had a twin brother? He's like, yeah, Helmut. I'm like, he's like, Hans. I was like, I don't know who the fuck Hans is. How the fuck it was such a bizarre thing to like
right.
find out, like, one, to not know, be at a funeral and be like, he has risen. It's like, no, it's his twin. He had a twin? What the fuck?
Right.
What a weird thing to hide from me. They're like, we didn't hide it from you. We just assumed you remembered. I'm like, when? When I was 1?
Yeah.
I literally have never met this fuck. I have never seen double when I've looked at Carl.
Yeah.
Like, it was such a...
That's funny. That's funny.
A bizarre way of finding out and then being transfixed and like learning, like getting to know this guy and kind of being like, it's like I'm talking to Carl,
but it's
like
not.
He still lives on.
Yeah.
That's gotta be depressed as fuck when like, if you're an identical twin, you lose your brother or your sister or something.
Right.
And then you just look in the mirror.
Yeah, right? I never thought of it that way.
But then like, if you're like, hey, if I miss him, I'll just look in the mirror.
That's true.
And if I get tired of him, I'll just grow a beard.
Yeah, true to that too. Well, I wish I could say we're going on to happier topics, but we still have two more deaths to talk about. The good news, I guess, if you will, is none of them are as personal as everything we just talked about. But Kenny Rogers passed away yesterday.
Yeah, what was he known as? The Gambler?
Well, that was his song. That was that, you know
but that
when
was
to hold
like
him.
the nickname for him, I guess.
Because of the song, I think. I don't think it was before that. But yeah, he had that, and then he also had a group briefly called The First Edition, and they had a song that I absolutely loved. I actually think you would like it. It's called Just Dropped In, but then in parentheses, to see what my condition was in. So it's like, it's a trippy song. But, and then apparently he was in a movie called The Gambler, based on the character of the song, I believe, if I'm reading this right.
Well, I know there was a couple movies, The Gambler. There was one with James Caan, which was the original, and then there was a remake with Mackie Mac.
Well, this was maybe it was a TV movie because it's an Emmy-nominated thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
well, I really don't know much about Kenny Rogers. I'm sad to say the only thing I know of Kenny Rogers was Will Sasso played him on Mad TV frequently.
Okay. That's even more than I knew. But anyway, no, he was, my mom loves Kenny Rogers. One of her favorites, and used to hear him a lot in my house. Him, John Denver was another one you would hear a lot of in my house. And among many other artists. My mom is very eclectic, but she did love herself some Kenny Rogers. Yeah. So, I mean, we're not trying to do any disservice to him or his legacy or his family by any means, but neither of us are very educated, and yes, I'm doing my best by, flipping through his Wikipedia as we speak. Right. But yeah, I just wanted to at least bring it up, because he is I feel like he's an American icon in some capacity, sure. So, he was 81 when he passed away. Mm-hmm. So, as Kev would say again, big bucket to win, Yeah. Married 5 times, for fuck's sake,
I don't, no comment on that
one. But yeah, so let's...
He was a gambler.
He was a gambler. But then we're going to move on to another one. And this one happened a couple weeks ago. We just haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. Yes. But James Lipton...
this one actually hit me.
Yeah, it hit me too. I was a big fan of Inside the Actors Studio. That's a show I would watch. James Lipton from the... I'm trying to find the name of the school, because it's not called the Actors... Well, the school is called the Actors Studio.
Right.
Yeah, but it's part of a different school. Like, it's a division of a school. I'm trying to find it now. But anyway...
the Stella Adler workshop or some shit, like one of those.
The Actor Studio Drama School at Pace University.
Okay.
But it used to be... Okay, so, all right, here we go. Hold on a second. I got it now. In 1994, he arranged for the Actor Studio, the home base of method acting in the United States, for 60 years to join with the New York City's New School University. And they formed the Actor Studio Drama School. And that stayed there until 2006 when the contract ended, and I guess the new school didn't want to pick it up. I don't know.
It's still it's still a show, but it's obviously like, I think he knew his health was declining. So
yeah,
in terms of the show aspect, they've had like a constant switch of guest hosts. And
I've watched it, and I haven't. It's not the same without James. Any of it.
I don't have cable, so
I have. It's not the same without James Lipton. It's just not.
That's all things considered. I mean, he was a fucking interviewer. Like, he was.
Yes,
like,
man.
You can go through like Carson, Leno, Letterman, Conan, all that.
Kevin's a good interviewer.
But like Lipton he took the art of acting and made it fascinating.
Yep.
Because it was really like, let's watch these actors talk about the roles and how they did it. Like I'm not even a fan of Sean Penn, but I was riveted watching Lipton interview Sean Penn.
You know which one got me the most? It was most interesting to watch. Not my favorite one is the Robin Williams one by far.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
How is it not? Because he's just Robin. But I mean, like, the Tom Hanks one was really good.
There was two of them. There was two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both of them were really good. But the one that intrigued me the most was the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is like, now that he's passed, you're like, fuck. There was some follow-ups I would have loved to see.
Yep.
Or some actors that were never interviewed, that you would love to see interviewed. Like Kevin. Can you imagine Kevin? I mean, and Kevin would laugh his ass off. He's like,
oh, yeah.
Like, Lipton would be like, so then you made Jay and Silent Bob strike back. What possessed you to sit down and write such an amazing achievement? Kevin's like, it's a dick and fart joke movie. What's wrong with you?
No, he'd be like, James, that's such a great question. Let me tell you all about it. And then 3 hours later, the answer to the question.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like, what is your favorite word? And then Kevin would just talk for fucking ever. He's like, those are all my favorite words.
We'll get to that. But yeah.
There was one he did with Dave Chappelle. He did two with Chappelle.
Did he do two with Chappelle? I know he did the one.
He interviewed Dave Chappelle, and then Dave Chappelle interviewed him. For like the 100th episode or something.
Okay.
And that was fascinating to see the flip. But, because when Chappelle was like asked about Half Baked, the movie, he started crying. He's like, and then you made Half Baked. He's like, motherfucker, listen, son, we made Half. That's my bad, Dave Chappelle.
That was a really bad Dave Chappelle.
It's hard to do Dave Chappelle.
It is hard to do. I can only imagine. Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you, son. But there was a part where he interviewed Lipton, and he said, when he got to the questionnaire, he said, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates? And Lipton said, you see, Jim, I do exist. He's like, you were wrong. I do exist. Because Lipton was a pretty well-known atheist. And Chappelle stopped the show. He's just like, wait a minute, son. You don't believe in God?
That's funny. Well, here's an interesting thing. Like, all right, I'm going to share my screen with you because I want you to see this. This is crazy.
Mm-hmm. I might know a little bit of Lipton. I read his book.
Well, no. I'm sure you do. I'm not questioning your Lipton knowledge. This is the list of guests that he's had on the show.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, like, I don't remember. Some of these, I think, are all just guests on the show on a whole. Like, but he may not have been he may not have interviewed them. These some of them maybe later. Like,
maybe.
Like Will Arnett, maybe. I don't know.
But here, to your point, you mentioned, because it lists here the twice, like Sarah Jessica Parker was twice, Pacino was twice. But look at Chappelle, 3 times. Only artist 3 times. 2005, 2008, and 2013.
Yep.
Hanks twice, Bradley Cooper twice.
Bradley Cooper is a very interesting one.
I would like to see that one, actually.
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. Bradley Cooper was a student.
Yes, he was. Yes, I knew that. I think I saw part of it. One of them at least. Yeah.
When De Niro and Sean Penn came on, you could see Bradley Cooper in the audience asking questions. Like he asked De Niro a question.
Oh wow!
And then full circle,
he's up on the stage.
With De Niro like a couple of times.
The only one I know is Silver Linings, but I'm not debating that.
Limitless.
Okay. Oh, right. I want to see that. That's on my list. By the way, not to change topics completely, but I do find it... So Netflix is doing a thing now where it's giving you, like... You know how it would break off into, like, sci-fi and comedy, and it gives you different categories to help you find different things to watch or whatever? They're now doing a thing, the top 10 in America. In the top 10, 2 movies. Contagion, Outbreak.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yeah. That's a whole nother... That's a different...
Contagion. The Simpsons episode is pretty fucking great because...
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah.
That was I think that was the first time and the public was like actually seeing the people do the voices.
Right.
With the exception of the woman who plays Marge. Fuck, I'm blanking. I've been watching so much Simpsons, I have no excuse. Because she doesn't like anyone seeing her do the voice. She's very self-conscious about.
Wait, who is this?
The woman who voices Marge.
Oh yeah, I forget her name, but yeah, you're right.
She apparently you never see her do it. Like, and she apparently put up a cutout of Marge's face in front of her face because she doesn't like doing the voice in front of people.
Okay.
And to see Nancy Cartwright and Hank Azaria do the Moe's Tavern phone pranks was
fun. Yeah, that was fun.
Moe's Tavern.
That was you? That's one of the ones he does. Yeah.
Wait, that was you?
It was crazy, dude. It was crazy.
An prompt reading of her poem about her cat Snowball.
Yes. Yes.
Krusty doing his laugh, and that's the thing, is that it wasn't just a show of how this actor rose and starred and was in these movies, or directors. They did directors too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But it was a lot of fun. I mean, you brought up Robin Williams too. That is unanimously everyone's favorite episode.
Because it's Robin Williams.
What we saw was like the one that was like aired, but then there was like, I have a copy of the uncut version.
I need that. I want that. Yeah.
I could try and send it to you, but it's like... No,
that's yours, buddy. Don't do that to me. I'd feel bad taking it from you.
No. It's on a video file.
Oh, okay.
It's, and you like a woman like had a hernia in the audience.
Yep. We've talked about it. We talked about it, I think, when Robin passed. I think we talked about it quite a bit.
Well,
not when he passed, but we were discussing Robin's passing or something.
Right. It was a recent-ish episode. A favorite of mine was when Pacino revealed that his grandparents came from Corleone, Sicily, and he never revealed it until that moment. He's like, like his grandparents were literally born in the same town that like the Corleones were from, which meant he was literally born for the role. And he kept it a secret until that moment. It was so great to see that. A lot of great people, man. The Johnny Depp one I would have loved to have seen, because at the Johnny Depp episode, that's when he was still doing like the quirky shit. He had yet to do Pirates.
Yes,
that's
you're right.
When he blew the fuck up. So like, there would have been a really fascinating scene, be like, and when did you come up with Jack Sparrow.
One of the interesting things about the Johnny Depp episode was watching him roll cigarettes while he's talking to James Lipton. Like, he didn't just, because they would smoke if they were smokers. They let him do it. But Johnny took it a step further and literally was rolling like these little brown cigarettes. And I'm not uncertain that it wasn't weed, to be honest with you. But that's
no, it was definitely, he was known for rolling his own cigarettes for years in Hollywood.
So there was that. I mean, it
Robert
was
Downey
just
Jr.
RDJ, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of these I never saw, which kind of upsets me because I'd like.
You never saw the Robert Downey Jr. one?
I don't think so. I'm starting to not remember. You know what I mean? I might have.
There was a great. Lipton asked him like, "So what got through you through Home for the Holidays or whatever that holiday film that Downey Jr. did?" And without missing a beat, Downey went, "Black tar heroin."
I wish I could. I mean, you laugh because it's a funny response, but it's probably accurate too.
But like, I think the class of Lipton was, and I mean the class of the man, not his
yeah,
was that he was sensitive, and because at one point he said like, Bob, he was talking to Downey, he said, because everyone calls him Bob, and he said, Bob, if it's okay, I'd like to ask a little bit about, your struggles with addiction and the law. And you've seen Downey, who's really always candor and open and honest, say his shit, but he was like, yeah, of course, go ahead. Like, ask me whatever you want to know.
Right.
And since then, he hates talking about it. Like, there was that infamous interview where he got interviewed by a British journalist. I think he was a British Indian journalist. And they were doing like the promo for like Age of Ultron or something. And the journalist, instead of just plugging the movie, kept wanting to be serious and talk about Downey's drug addiction and his past addictions.
Right.
And do you see the look on Downey's face is kind of like, dude, what the fuck are we doing here? Like, I'm here to sell you my movie. Like, what are you doing? And they kind of ended the interview abruptly, and then Downey was like, all right, bye. And then he's like, no, like, let's have a conversation. And he's like, yeah, but like, you're kind of a schmuck, and then walked out. And this guy has also done the same thing.
See, that's the other thing, though. Like you said, the class of James, people respected him, you know what I mean? So that's why he could get away with asking those questions. The other thing that was really interesting, and we referred to it earlier, we have this Saturday Night Live episode yet to put out, but, and we're not huge fans of this guy, but Will Ferrell's portrayal of James Lipton, And then at one point, and I forget if it was on SNL or on the Actors Studio, Will Ferrell, as James Lipton, interviewed James Lipton.
Yeah, and it was like when they got to the questionnaire, he's like, "What is your
we'll get to the questions, but yeah."
He said me. He's like, "What is your least favorite word?" You.
Yeah.
Pointing at him, and
but it was fun, and and like it was always a joke on the SNL sketch. He'd have a stack of cards like 3 feet tall, but that wasn't too far off because Lipton did his fucking research. You know what I mean?
Oh no,
and
those were all questions. It wasn't just like a prop.
No, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, and so like Lipton did his research and stuff. So it was interesting and all that, and I saw the one with Jim Carrey. That was interesting. This show for me was very much like, and I don't know if you remember this show. Do you remember a show called Behind the Music?
Yeah, MTV.
Yeah, no, VH1. VH1. Yeah, and I would watch those regardless of the artist. If it was somebody I liked, like Metallica was on once, Black Sabbath was on once, If it was a group like that, then I was tuning in. But even if it wasn't, like I watched one on Tony Orlando once, and I could give 2 craps about Tony Orlando's music, but the Behind the Music was riveting. Do you know what I mean? Same thing with like inside the Actors Studio. There would be actors I didn't really know or care about, and yet I would want to watch it because it was just so interesting to the way he would conduct his interviews.
Of course, and all the questions were meticulous. I mean, how many times were like the the subject were so flabbergasted, like, how the fuck did you find that out?
Yes.
Like,
oh my God. Yeah.
Like, he was a fucking, like,
well, I'm sure he had
detective.
a team. Like I know he did his own work, but I'm sure he had a team helping him too. You know,
one of my favorite little bits was when one of the times I think he interviewed Billy Crystal twice.
Twice he did, yeah. I saw that.
And there was one time, I think it was the first time, when Billy gets on stage, the applause and greeting, he just goes over to the questions and picks them all up and throws them on the table. He's like, all right, enough with this bullshit. We're just two guys having a conversation. And Lipton I guess he's always got a backup because he's like, aha, and then pulls out like
another
smaller
stack.
He's like, just in case.
That's awesome. And Billy probably just rolled his eyes and smiled with that smile.
And a lot of it, I mean, there's some great seriousness to, like, Jack Lemmon revealed he was an alcoholic on stage. That was,
oh, wow.
That was him coming clean about because he reveals, like, he was reciting dialogue where he says, hi, my name is this and I am an alcoholic. And then he stops and looks at the audience and says, which I am, incidentally. And he's like, and Lipton was confused. He's like, are you talking as you or are you talking as your character? He's like, no, me, Jack Lemmon. I am an alcoholic. And you could just hear
like
a
gas
pin drop.
Oh, wow. I got quiet.
It got so quiet. And you see Lipton just like staring. It was not an interview. It was a therapy session. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And you saw this look of genuine concern. And then ultimately it was that coming to terms with his alcoholism that I think Lemmon like entered in a rehab or started fighting alcoholism. Like the next day.
Yeah. And I think that was the case for a lot of actors. Maybe not to the degree. I'm not taking away from the Jack Lemmon thing, but I mean, like, there were multiple times you'd see him talking to different actors, and he would bring up something, and they'd be like, "Oh fuck, I haven't thought of that in years." And not in that, you know. Sometimes it was playful, and other times it was like, "Wow, you know, I haven't really thought of that in years." You know,
there's a lot of those great moments. There's another one where Spielberg, as you can see in a lot of his films, divorce is always sort of a rampant part of it, or a broken family, or a troubled father figure. So the implication is that he went through a lot of that with his own parents, and he didn't realize. And Lipton pointed this out. He said, in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they communicate with the aliens through music and technology. It's where science and music meet as a language. And he said, your mother was a musician and your father was a scientist. And Spielberg looked at Lipton and said, you know, I'd like to say that was planned, but I never made that connection until just this moment. Little shit like that.
Yeah.
Where he opens up the eyes of the person. They think, like, you have opened my motherfucking eyes.
Yep. So I mean, while he hasn't done the show in a while, it still is a big loss to the acting community, I think, you know.
And he always looked the same. There was never a point where he
never aged.
We saw him when he was always like 70.
Yeah. Because he
got feeble. I mean, that photo of him right there, that's how he's always looked.
Yep.
Maybe minus the beard, because I've seen earlier episodes where he didn't have the beard.
Okay. But I mean,
like, his hair never went white. He never got pale thin. He never got, he never looked sickly. He just looked like a,
And he made 93. I mean, that's pretty fucking impressive.
Yeah. The fact that he was 4 when he saw 1930, when he was like when World War II happened, he was like
in his teens. Yeah.
He could have fought in World War II. Like, he would have been young.
Yeah.
But he could have fought. He was also, if I remember correctly, because he spent a lot of time in Paris, he actually became a pimp, but it wasn't really like a pimp, but it was the profession was the same. He found women and he made them companions for men. He was essentially a pimp. And Chappelle pointed that out. He's like, "You were a pimp." And he's like, "Well, we didn't call it that, but yes."
Actually, here it goes.
Chappelle's like looking at the students like, all you motherfuckers didn't realize he was a pimp.
And it says here in his Wikipedia, in the 1950s, Lipton worked as a pimp when he was living in Paris.
There you go. I think they probably changed that. That's got to be a recent addition. Like, well, who's going to argue this one?
Well, the citation says... See if I can find the citation. 11.
There's also a pilot.
The New York Times thing is where it was cited from. So...
Well...
But I want to do one last thing before we wrap this up, because I don't know how much more we can... I mean, like, we could talk for hours, but, like, how much new information are we going to say? You know?
None. He's dead.
But, yeah. So, I thought, in the honor of Lipton, and look, with all respect to Bernard Pivot, fuck him, it's now Lipton's list. He would ask these 10 questions at the end of every interview segment before he turned the class over, because the class would also ask questions of the actor at the end there. So I thought it'd be fun if we did this. So, how about you ask me first?
Okay.
Can you say them okay?
Yeah. CJ.
I could know, because I can't do an invitation when we reverse this. Don't do that to me.
What is your favorite word?
Hope.
What is your least favorite word?
Can't.
What turns you on?
Love. What
turns you off?
Hatred.
What sound or noise do you love?
It's got to be a good guitar riff. I can't say like a specific chord, but just a good guitar riff.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Animals in pain.
What is your favorite curse word?
I think you would think you know the answer to this, but for me, it's got to be bollocks. I use that all the time. Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Bar owner.
Bar owner, not even bartender?
No, I guess that would be implied within it, but like running the whole show,
Okay. What profession would you not like to attempt?
Garbage man.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
You can go back as often as you want.
Good answer.
Yeah. So now I'll flip this around on you. Rico, what is your favorite word?
Ironic.
What is your least favorite word?
MAGA.
Okay. What turns you on?
Amazing snorting laughter.
What turns you off?
Animals and children being hurt. I don't. Yeah.
Kind of same thing I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love? I think you kind of already answered this. What sound or noise do you hate? What is your favorite curse word?
What noise do I hate?
Okay. Sorry. Yep.
I get really irritated at traffic. Like just the sounds of traffic drives me fucking nuts. So honking, I guess.
Okay. What's your favorite curse word? I think I know this, but I could be wrong.
I have such a rich vocabulary. I'm gonna, motherfucker, because motherfucker is so
versatile
and so useful. I can call you motherfucker. I could say that motherfucker, and I'd be like, motherfucker, listen, let me tell you something, motherfucker. In other words, on a good day, it's motherfucker. On a bad day, it's cunt.
Okay. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I think in a perfect world, I would like to be a loud singer or a actor of some sort.
What profession would you like not to do?
I would not like to be a parachute tester.
Okay. And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I've been waiting for this question for so many years. You're early.
CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. Listen to us on the Apple Podcast app, Spotify, Stitcher, or anywhere else you find your podcasts. Please don't forget to rate and comment. PodAskew is a member of the Big Heads Media Podcast Network. Visit their website, bigheadsmedia.com, and follow them on Twitter @BigHeadsMedia. If you want to agree with or yell at us, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is @PodAskew, Rico is @RantsRico, and I'm @M_Blade. We want to thank logo designer and show friend Mike for his work on our wonderful logo. You can contact him for artwork via email at logomike80@gmail.com. That's logomike80@gmail.com. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for all original music on the show, especially our theme music. You can find Sam on Twitter @SamuelLemons, all one word, and his music on SoundCloud at soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gate?
Damn it!